Hey Panther fans, welcome into Inside Franklin Panther Sports. I'm George Young, today joined with Bekah Brooks, First Lady of Franklin football, also the head coach of the varsity Lady Panthers volleyball team. And Bekah, it's good to have you in studio today.
Thanks for having me. It's a joy.
Now Bekah, you've been around Franklin athletics for a long time. You played when you were in high school at Franklin. You graduated from Franklin, and you were a three-sport athlete. You played volleyball, basketball, and softball. So you've been around for a long time and seen a lot of Franklin Panther sports.
Yes, it was always my dream to come back and coach here. So went on to Western to get a degree, and Coach Shields was still the coach at the time, and she gladly offered me to come back, and I just worked under her for a long time and got as much knowledge as I could. And lo and behold, last year I was my first head coaching job, but coached many years being an assistant and a JV coach, also coached the middle school, so and do both volleyball and basketball as well.
You played volleyball, basketball, and softball.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have coached your kids' basketball, seen
Yes.
you on the court there. What's your favorite sport, volleyball?
Yes, growing up, honestly, when I was real little, it was softball.
Yeah.
I was just, I guess you'd say, good at it. It was easy to me. We did the All-Stars, we traveled, we did whatnot, but kind of weeding in. I was actually a gymnast for a long time. I competed, did gymnastics for 7 or 8 years, and once it got to middle school, my mom was like, you kind of need to choose gymnastics or your team sports. So my 7th grade year, I ran cross country, so that was a little different, and then followed along with my friends during 8th grade, and that's when I kind of fell in love with volleyball coming into the high school. But basketball has always been fun to me. It's very high speed, which is just right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say over time, volleyball's been my love.
Top teams in the Mountain Six Conference. You've got a lot of veterans coming back. You guys are going to be one of the top teams. Who are going to be some of the teams that you're going to be competing against to win that conference championship this year?
It's going to be a brawl this year, and that's what I like. To me, there's no top team, but when we look across the board, Brevard is kind of like us. They're always really, really high. They didn't lose but a few girls as well, just like us, so they'll be one of the top teams. Hendersonville lost pretty heavy, but they also, I heard they had got a move in that's about 6'2" or 6'3", so height doesn't mean a lot unless you can do a lot with it, so hopefully that doesn't hinder us there. They did lose their setter, which was their go-to person. Smokey's big. Smokey's going to be very competitive, just right across the mountain. Pisgah will still be a little bit young, but he's really got the program up and going over there. So that will be a real good game both ways. And then East Henderson did lose pretty heavy. They also got a new coach, so I really like her. She kind of coaches in the same way I do, and she was the JV coach, so she's going to pull a lot of those with her. But I really, really, in my heart, feel like this is our year, that we can do it. I'm really pushing these girls to buy into that. Every game counts, from the beginning game at Murphy to senior night with Smoky Mountain. It's just going to be an all-out brawl every single night, and we just have to show up.
What's one of the keys do you think that your team will have to do this year to win that conference title?
I think the biggest thing, I feel like we have skills, and we are even more advanced. Like when we go into practice, it's not fixing things, it's just working together. This is the first year I can say that we're deep on the bench, which is amazing. And there's going to be off nights for certain players, and I feel like that I can go to the bench and someone can fill those shoes and get the job done. But communication is going to be key. And I just think if we will just mold together and not let anything outside or another team tear us down, I really just see us going far. Our 2 main goals this year was top 1 or 2 in the conference, and then we want to go past the first round in the playoffs. Like, that hasn't been done in a long time. Ultimately, we want that banner that says 2019 we're conference champs. But I just think that if they'll just stick together, we can pull this out.
You're known for your enthusiasm
Yeah.
on the sidelines. Where did that come from?
I just have always had a passion for sports in general, and I played like that. You can probably ask anybody, that's just how I played. I was very much an in-your-face, enthusiastic type of person, and well, the apple doesn't fall far because that's the way I coach. I talk to my husband all the time and tell him, like, once that's gone, like, I'll get out of coaching because passion's what drives me every day. I have 3 kids of my own, and I miss time with them to be with these girls, but once I see their passion, that's why we coach. And, you know, spending time with them every day. And I just think that if kids don't see that, then how can you expect for them to give that?
Absolutely. Well, you've been instrumental in beginning a community league volleyball program. This is the first season, and that kind of relates back to your passion there for volleyball, because you're not just guiding the kids on the high school level, you're trying to cultivate the young ones too. Tell us about how that got started this year.
Well, I had someone come to me last year and put this proposal out, and I was like, okay. I just got a new coaching job, head coach. I just had a baby. I have 2 other kids. You know, I'm like, I don't know that I can do this right now, but I said we just need to fine tune some things, and we talked a lot. You know, Justin Moffett has been a real big push for this. Seth Adams has been. I have been. And actually, kids have been. They're wanting more volleyball. I don't want them to feel like they have to go to Georgia or to Asheville to get it. And when we put on camps at the high school, there's just a great feedback. So I'm like, let's do this. So this year, it just took off like a rocket, and we're doing great with signups.
That's at the community building?
Yes, sir.
That's where you guys are going to have matches?
We are. We're going to hold the smaller kids there. The only thing different with the smaller kids is we're going to do a shortened court and a little bit smaller net, but everything else is the same. And then with the older age group, everything is normal. So normal size court, normal size net, and those will be held at South Macon and MVI. So we'll do practices and games there.
Maybe as a player, and you can also speak to this as a coach, do you have a pregame routine? Do you have any superstitions?
Well, yes and no. We do a lot of things. We do a lot of dances. I mean, most girls, that's right up their alley. You know, as a coach, I try to really set back time. I help in the JV games, so I don't have a lot of time there, but I think a lot throughout the day on game days of, you know, what is it today? What's going to motivate them? What's going to drive them to just never give up? Like, and so, you know, sometimes we have those pep talks and we tear out the locker room like, I guess, like we're football players. But it's more or less that I want them to do things that's going to make them play the best that they can play. And every team is different, so we'll see what this team has. But we've done dances. You know, never forget to give all the glory to God, because that's what it's all about. But the biggest thing is I honestly just want them to be able to play whatever they do before. As long as they're warm to play, we'll roll with it. So, but a lot of it is dancing. We're really good at that.
Well, that's a good pregame routine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Bekah Brooks, thanks for joining us today. It's been fun.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, and come out and watch us this season.
All right, Panther fans, that's been head coach Bekah Brooks of the Panther volleyball team, and that's been this week's edition of Inside Panther Sports.